As January 1942 wore on, so did the Japanese advance down the Malay Peninsula. On the 15th, they crossed the Moir River in the southwest and captured Moir itself the next day. To assist the 45th Indian Infantry Brigade in its attempt to hold the line at the river, the Australian 2nd 19th Battalion arrived on the 18th of January. In command of the Australians was 44-year-old Lieutenant Colonel Charles Anderson, a veteran of the African campaigns of the First World War and recipient of the Military Cross, who had moved to Australia in 1935 and re-enlisted there 4 years later. Although he and his men put up a strong resistance near Bakri to the Japanese attacks, destroying 10 of their tanks, the position could not be held and they began to withdraw. However, the Japanese had already captured Parit-Sulong, where Lieutenant Colonel Anderson was intending to cross the river, and the entire Allied force in the area was cut off. He and his men had managed to penetrate 15 miles past the Japanese lines, delayed their advance, and destroyed more of their guns and equipment. Lieutenant Colonel Anderson himself led an attack on a bridge crossing the Moir. When the Indian Brigade commander was killed on the 20th of January, he assumed leadership of the entire force in the area. Finally, on the 22nd, after 4 days of fighting, Lieutenant Colonel Anderson ordered that all usable equipment be destroyed, and for what was left of his men to make their way back through the jungle to friendly territory, which they did. Unlike Lieutenant Colonel Cumming, who escaped Singapore before the surrender, Lieutenant Colonel Anderson was captured the following month along with more than 80,000 British, Indian, and Australian troops, one of the worst, if not the worst, defeats for the British Empire in its history. He spent the next 3 years as a prisoner, much of it building railways in Burma. After the war, he went into politics, serving in the House of Representatives as MP for Hume, part of the Old Country Party, from 1949 to 51 and 1955 to 61, winning 3 times and losing twice. He finally died on Remembrance Day, 1988, age 91.